My location is pretty unique. So Tanya, thank you for the team for inviting me. To answer the question, in New York, I don't want to own a car. The reason behind that is because the commute in New York is really pretty awesome. So we ride the buses, the train, and it's pretty um, easy. And as Joe was saying, in New York, we also have the Uber ride. And I think it's pretty much easier for everyone now with the app. If I want to spend a weekend, for example, in Long Island in a beach or go to New Jersey, there are a lot of taxis, or the Avis rent a car is pretty
Right.
awesome as well. So you can rent a car for a day or two. So I'm not sure if I would want to own a car in New York, but some of
Yeah.
my friends do.
Okay. And well, I can tell you for sure that I would not want to drive in New York. That is a pretty scary experience.
We're not that bad of drivers.
Not that bad, James.
No, a little aggressive, just a little
A
aggressive.
little aggressive,
Little
exactly.
aggressive.
I come from South Africa. Everybody's very polite on the road. It would take a big adjustment. But so, Rommel, when you went to live in New York in the beginning, what was new? I mean, you spoke about the Uber Lyft or the Uber or Lyft app. You spoke about maybe like taxis or Hertz. What about the subway? Did you use the subway at all, or
I
trains?
use Yeah. So sorry. I use the subway every day. So I live in Queens. So that's around 40-45 minutes train ride from my place to Manhattan where I work at. But when I was starting 10 years ago, I was working in Queens. So I just need to take a taxi or a bus. But when I started working in Manhattan in Pfizer, I have to take a bus ride to the train and then a train ride directly to Manhattan in 42nd Street. So it's still pretty easy. I just need to wake up early.
A long commute. James is
Long commute,
smiling
for
because he knows what that's all
I
about,
know what
right,
that's like.
James?
Seeing those cars. So I live in Long Island. Not to cut in, but I live in Long Island, so very familiar, Ronald, with if you're on Long Island, you will need a vehicle because it's not as accessible as New York City. But every day I drive to the office and I drive past the main road that goes into New York City. And
Mm.
I just say, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it every day that they just drive in there 2 or 3 hours to get in, 2 or 3 hours to get home. It's a challenging thing. So when you can take the train or you can just jump on a bus or as Ronald mentioned, where you can, Avis purchased
Yeah.
Zipcar a few years ago, where you can rent a vehicle just for a few hours and drive
Yeah.
out to the beach and enjoy everything that New York has to offer. It's definitely very beneficial when you're in the city, and to own a car in the city, very, very
And that,
expensive, very
yeah.
expensive.
And James, and Tanya, I have to tell you a secret. I still catch around 30 minutes sleep in the train
There
going
Oh,
you
to
you
go.
work.
do?
Exactly. As long as you're in the quiet car, right? As long as you're in the
Right.
quiet car, you can
Right.
just kind of, and nobody ever follows the quiet car rules anyway. But they're supposed to. But it's everybody takes that sleep, and everybody I know that takes the train tells me the same thing. It's an extra hour or 45 minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
That's worth
So
it.
there are pros and cons wherever you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Joe cannot go to sleep while she's driving to work in Georgia, right, Joe?
No, I can. But I went to New York just like a week ago, and I hate the traffic. But I love the trains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rommel, did it take you a while to learn how to use the train system or the subway system?
The train system, although there's we have a lot of lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A B C D E F. So but it's pretty easy if there's map everywhere, and we have this flyer kind of map that they give away in the sub stations. So it's I don't know, I feel like it's pretty easy. It was easy for me. Yeah.